everyone. Welcome back to Practice English TV. I'm Mark, and it's really good to have you here again.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma. Thanks for joining us today. Maybe you're relaxing, maybe you're studying, or maybe you're just listening while doing something else.
Yeah, however you're listening, we're glad you're here. Today's topic is something very common, but also a little uncomfortable for many people.
We're talking about returning items at a store.
Right, buying something is easy, but returning something, that can feel a bit stressful.
Especially in English, you might worry about what to say, how to explain the problem, or how the employee will respond.
Exactly. Maybe the item is broken, or maybe it just wasn't what you expected.
Or maybe you bought the wrong size and now you need to explain that clearly.
So today, we're going to walk through real situations, useful phrases, and natural conversations to help you feel more confident.
Just listen, relax, and follow along. You don't need to understand every word.
Yeah, just enjoy the conversation. And let's get started. You know what's interesting about returning items? It's something we all do, but it almost always feels a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I agree. Even if you're a native speaker, returning something can feel awkward.
Exactly. You walk into the store holding the item and you're already thinking about what you're going to say.
And sometimes you even practice the sentence in your head before you go to the counter.
I've definitely done that. I'll repeat something like, "Hi, I'd like to return this," over and over.
Same here. And then when it's your turn, you suddenly feel a little nervous.
Yeah, especially if you're not sure about the store's return policy.
That's a big one. Some stores are very flexible, and others are more strict.
Let's imagine a simple situation. You bought a shirt yesterday, but when you tried it at home, it didn't fit.
So now you go back to the store, and you're holding the shirt and the receipt.
Right, and you walk up to the counter, but you hesitate for a second.
You're thinking, should I say return or exchange?
Exactly. That small choice can make you pause.
Another situation is when the item has a problem.
Like maybe you bought headphones and they don't work properly.
So now you have to explain the problem clearly.
And sometimes it's not easy to describe what's wrong.
Yeah, you might say something like, it doesn't sound right, but you're not sure if that's clear enough.
Here's another moment that can feel uncomfortable. The employee asks, "What's the reason for the return?"
Yeah, that question can make you feel like you need a very good explanation.
Exactly. Even if the reason is simple, like, "I just don't like it," it can feel a bit awkward to say.
Yeah, it feels a little too honest sometimes.
But the truth is, these situations are very normal.
People return items all the time. Employees are used to it.
Another small situation. You go to return something, but you forgot the receipt.
Oh, that can make things more difficult.
Now you're thinking, can I still return this?
And you need to ask that question clearly.
Right. And again, if you're not confident in English, that moment can feel stressful.
But here's the good news. Most return conversations follow a very simple pattern.
Yeah, usually it's just a few steps. You explain the situation, answer a couple of questions, and that's it.
And once you understand the basic phrases, it becomes much easier.
Also, you don't need perfect grammar.
Not at all. Clear and simple English works very well in these situations.
So if you've ever felt nervous about returning something in English, that's completely normal.
And today, we're going to help you feel more comfortable with it.
Yeah, step by step, just like a real conversation.
Let's keep going and talk about some real-life experiences.
Here's something a lot of people experience. Returning something sounds simple, but sometimes the situation gets a little uncomfortable in ways you didn't expect.
Yeah, and it's usually not a big problem. It's those small moments that make you feel unsure.
Exactly. I remember one time I bought a jacket. It looked perfect in the store, but when I tried it at home, it just didn't feel right.
That happens a lot. Sometimes the lighting in the store makes everything look better.
Yeah, I think that was part of it. So the next day, I went back to return it. I had the receipt, everything was ready.
So far, that sounds like an easy return.
That's what I thought too. But when I got to the counter, the employee looked at the jacket and said, "Oh, this looks worn."
Oh no, that's already a problem.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. I said, "I only tried it on at home."
That's a normal thing to say.
But then they said, "We usually can't accept returns if the item has been worn."
That must have felt a little stressful.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I paused and thought, okay, what do I say now?
That moment where you don't know how to respond?
Exactly. So I said, is there anything you can do? Just to keep the conversation open.
That's a good move. You didn't argue, but you also didn't give up.
Yeah, and then they checked with a manager.
That waiting moment again.
Yeah, and it felt long. But in the end, they agreed to give me store credit.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't a full refund, but it was still okay.
I had a different kind of situation once. I tried to return something, but I forgot the receipt.
That already sounds stressful.
Yeah, I walked up and said, "Hi, I'd like to return this, but I don't have the receipt."
Clear and honest.
The employee looked at me and said, "Do you have the original packaging?"
Oh, another condition.
Yeah, and I said, no,
That's not helping your situation.
not at all. Then they said, "We might not be able to process the return."
That's a tough moment.
Yeah, I felt a little stuck. So I asked, "Is there any other option?"
Good question.
And they said they could offer a lower store credit based on the current price.
So not the full value.
Exactly. But I accepted it because I didn't have many choices.
That's very realistic.
Here's another small situation. You go to return something and the employee starts asking questions quickly.
Like what?
They say, "Do you have the receipt? Was it used? Do you want a refund or exchange?"
All at once.
Yeah, and you're just standing there thinking, wait, one question at a time.
Yeah, your brain needs a second to catch up.
So you might say, "Sorry, can you repeat that?" Just to slow things down.
And that's completely okay.
All these situations are very normal. Sometimes things go smoothly, and sometimes there are small problems.
But even when it feels awkward, you can still communicate.
And the more you experience these moments, the easier they become.
Exactly. And now, let's slow things down a bit and look at some useful words you'll hear in these situations. Let's start with some useful words you'll hear when returning items at a store. These are very common and will help you understand the conversation more easily.
Yeah, and once you recognize these words, you'll feel more confident right away.
First, the word return. This means you bring something back to the store and ask for your money back.
Another important word is exchange. That means you return an item, but instead of getting money, you get a different item.
For example, a different size or a different color.
Now let's talk about refund. A refund means the store gives your money back.
So, return is the action and refund is the result.
That's a helpful way to remember it.
Another very important word is receipt.
A receipt is the paper or digital record that shows you bought something.
Most stores will ask for a receipt when you return an item.
Now here's a small situation. You go to the store and say, "I'd like to return this."
The employee might ask, "Do you have the receipt?"
If you have it, you can say, "Yes, here it is."
If you don't, you can say, "No, I don't have the receipt."
Another common phrase you'll hear is return policy.
A return policy is the store's rules about returns.
For example, how many days you have to return an item or whether you can get a refund.
Some stores say you can return items within 30 days.
Others might only offer store credit.
Let's look at another situation. You bring back an item because something is wrong.
You might say, "It doesn't work," or "It's broken."
Or, "There's a problem with this."
Simple and clear is always best.
Now here are a few useful adjectives. You might say, too small, too big, or not the right size.
You can also say, not what I expected.
That's a very natural and polite way to explain a return.
Another useful word is store credit.
Store credit means you don't get cash back, but you can use the value to buy something else in the store.
Here's a small situation. You don't have a receipt.
The employee might say, we can offer store credit.
And you can say, okay, that's fine.
Now let's talk about original payment method.
That means how you paid before, for example, cash or card.
Sometimes stores will say, we can only refund to the original payment method.
That means if you paid by card, the money goes back to your card.
One more important word is condition.
Condition means the state of the item.
For example, new, unused, or damaged.
Some stores will say the item must be in good condition.
That usually means you haven't used it too much.
So even if your English is simple, these words will help you understand and respond in real situations.
You don't need to use all of them at once.
Just a few key words can make your message clear.
And now let's try using these words in a more natural conversation. Let's go through a more realistic situation this time. Not perfect, not too smooth, just a normal return with a few small problems.
Yeah, that sounds more like real life.
So imagine this. You bought a pair of headphones yesterday, but when you got home, they didn't work properly.
Okay, so I bring the headphones back to the store with the receipt.
You walk up to the counter. There's a small line behind you.
That already makes me feel a little pressure.
Yeah, and when it's your turn, you say, "Hi, I'd like to return this."
The employee says, "Sure, what seems to be the problem?"
And you say,
I say, "It doesn't work properly."
"That's clear," but the employee asks, "What exactly is wrong with it?"
Now I pause a little. I'm not sure how to explain.
Yeah, this is where it gets real.
So I say, the sound is not clear.
That works. Simple as fine.
But then the employee puts them on and says, "It sounds okay to me."
That's an uncomfortable moment.
Yeah, now I feel like I need to explain more.
So what do you say?
I say, sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't.
Good. You add more detail.
Then they say, okay, we can test it.
Now you wait.
That waiting moment again, it always feels longer.
Yeah, even if it's just a few seconds.
Then they say, we can offer a replacement or a refund.
So now you need to decide.
I hesitate a little and say, maybe a refund.
That hesitation sounds very natural.
But then the employee says, we can only refund to store credit.
Oh, that changes things.
Yeah, I thought I would get my money back.
So what do you do?
I ask, why is that?
Good question.
And they say, because the item has been opened.
That's part of the return policy.
So I think for a moment and say, okay, store credit is fine.
You stay calm and flexible.
Yeah, sometimes that's the easiest choice.
Let's try another situation. This time you want to exchange something.
Okay, maybe a shirt that's too small.
You walk up and say, "Hi, I'd like to exchange this for a larger size."
The employee says, do you know what size you need?
And you're not completely sure.
So I say, maybe one size bigger.
That's honest.
Then they say, you can go pick a new one and I'll process the exchange.
So now you go back into the store.
I find a new shirt, but now I'm not sure if it's the right one.
Too many choices again.
Yeah, and I stand there for a moment thinking.
That quiet decision moment.
Exactly. Then I just pick one and go back.
You return to the counter.
I say, I think this one should work.
And they complete the exchange.
Simple, but still a few small moments of hesitation.
And that's the key. Real conversations are not perfect.
There are pauses, small doubts, and little adjustments.
But even with those moments, communication still works.
And the more you experience these situations, the more natural they feel.
Exactly. And now, let's look at some useful phrases you can use in these situations. You know, when you listen to real conversations, people don't usually think in full sentences. They just say what they need in the moment.
Yeah, it's often very simple, sometimes even shorter than what we expect.
Let's imagine you walk up to the counter again. You're holding the item, and you just want to start.
I'd probably say, "Hi, I'd like to return this."
That's it. No need to make it longer.
And if I want to exchange it, I'd just change one word. I'd like to exchange this.
Exactly. Same structure, very easy to remember.
Then the employee might ask, "What's the reason for the return?"
And this is where people sometimes feel stuck.
Yeah, but the answer can be very simple. It doesn't fit.
Or it's too small.
Or even, it's not what I expected.
That one is very useful. It sounds natural and polite at the same time.
Let's say the employee asks about the receipt.
They might say, "Do you have the receipt?"
And I say, "Yes, here it is."
Or if you don't have it, you can say, "No, I don't have the receipt. Is that okay?"
That little extra question makes it softer.
Yeah, it shows you understand there might be a problem.
Now imagine the employee explains something but you don't fully understand.
This happens a lot.
Instead of staying silent, you can say, "Sorry, can you repeat that?"
Or, "Sorry, I didn't catch that."
Both are very natural, and people say them all the time.
Let's say they give you options. We can offer a refund or store credit.
Now you just respond simply, "A refund would be great."
Or, "Store credit is fine."
You don't need to explain your decision in detail.
Here's another moment. Something feels unclear.
Yeah, maybe you're not sure about the policy.
You can say, "Can you explain that again?"
Or even just, "I'm a little confused."
That's honest and very natural.
Let's imagine one more situation. You want to ask before doing anything.
So you say, "Can I return this?"
Or, "Can I exchange this for a different size?"
Simple yes or no questions are very powerful.
And they make the conversation easier right from the start.
Another small moment is when you agree with the solution.
You can say, "That's fine."
Or, "That works for me."
Both sound relaxed and natural.
And if everything is done, you might say, "Thank you, I appreciate it."
That leaves a very good impression.
So when you look at all of this, it's really just small pieces.
Short sentences, simple words, and natural reactions.
You don't need to build long, perfect sentences.
You just need to respond step by step.
And once you get used to these patterns, you don't even think about them anymore.
Yeah, it starts to feel automatic.
Let's finish with a few simple tips and a question for you to practice. Before we finish, let's talk about a few simple tips that can make returning items feel much easier.
Yeah, these are small things, but they really help you feel more relaxed and confident.
First, keep your sentences simple. You don't need to explain everything in detail.
Exactly. A sentence like, "I'd like to return this," is already enough to start.
If there's a problem, just describe it in a simple way.
For example, "It doesn't fit," or "It doesn't work."
That's clear and easy to understand.
Here's a small situation. You feel nervous and you're not sure what to say.
Instead of trying to say a long sentence, you pause and use a simple one.
That helps you stay calm and avoid confusion.
Another tip is to listen for common questions.
Like, "Do you have the receipt?" Or, "Would you like a refund or an exchange?"
Once you hear these a few times, they become very familiar.
And your responses become more natural.
Here's another situation. The employee says something too fast.
Instead of guessing, you say, "Sorry, can you repeat that?"
That one sentence can make everything clearer.
Another helpful idea is to stay polite and calm even if the situation feels uncomfortable.
A simple please and thank you goes a long way.
And most employees are there to help you, not to make things difficult.
You can also prepare a little before you go.
Yeah, think about what you want to say.
Maybe you practice one sentence in your head.
That small preparation can make a big difference.
Now, let's talk about practice.
You don't need to wait for a real situation.
You can practice at home.
For example, pick an item near you and imagine returning it.
Say, "I'd like to return this," and then explain why.
Even short practice like that helps build confidence.
Now, we have a simple question for you.
Think about a time when you returned something or wanted to return something.
What did you say, or what would you say now?
Try to answer in English.
Even a short answer is great practice.
You could say, I returned a shirt because it was too small, or I want to return this because it doesn't work.
That's already very good.
And remember, you don't need to be perfect.
You just need to communicate clearly and keep practicing.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
We hope this conversation helps you feel more confident in real situations.
And next time you need to return something, it might feel just a little easier.
Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Take care and keep practicing.